Hi everyone, OT Nikki here from Action OT, bringing to you another episode this week of AT Fridays, where this week we are looking at the pot pan handle holder. So this one we got from ILS. It is designed, so it's a very simple lightweight wire frame that comes with some suction cups on the bottom. What you do is you suction this onto your stovetop, and then I'm going to pull you down a bit here. I'll do that later. You pop your pan into it and suction it onto the bench. And what it does is it stops your saucepan or your frying pan from moving when you are stirring it. So you can see here that I've suctioned it onto a plastic tray. So obviously it will also suction onto a stove top where you might want to be cooking. Then I put a little bit of water on the suction caps just to help it stick, which is pretty standard for suction cap use. I've got my saucepan here, pop it in there, and I've got my stirring tool. And as you can see, with quite vigorous stirring, it's keeping the pot in place. I still maybe have to go back and forth to make sure that it doesn't get it doesn't come out. See how it's moving a little bit there, so I'd probably recommend moving it back and forth, but quite significant stirring there. And as you can see, I'm not having to hold the pot handle with one hand while I stir. So good implications here, I think, for this device for anyone who is looking at cooking and only has the use of one upper limb. A few extra bits of info here. So you need to make sure the 3 suction pads are obviously secured to the stovetop before you begin cooking. You also want to make sure that the wiring and the suction pads themselves are at least 5 centimeters away from the flame or heat source, and further away if possible. Obviously, we don't want things to melt. It says not to leave the holder next to a flame or naked heat source without a pot in place on it. It also says the holder will heat up to a certain extent itself while it's being used. So you want to allow the holder to remain in place on the stove before you remove it for a period of time, so it gets the chance to cool down. And apart from that, otherwise I think it's a pretty good device for anyone who has difficulty holding on to a handle of a saucepan, or perhaps only has the use of one upper limb to cook with. So $55 from ILS we got this one for. So check it out. All right, thanks everyone. See you next week.